Good evening, good evening. From cold Nairobi, we extend a very warm welcome to all of you out here, from whichever part of the world you're joining us from. Today, we launch DTLC 7, DTLC 7, meaning we have graduated 7 cohorts. And the DTLC program, which you'll hear a lot more from, has been able to help very many people, especially those with diabetes. Dtlc stands for Diabesity Total Lifestyle Change Program. It is a program under the Diabetes Nutrition Centre, which was founded by Dr. Ojwang. She shall tell us a lot more about this. As we said, this time we are focusing on diabetes. And no doubt each of us in one way or another is affected by diabetes. Last week, I had to have an emergency because my dad was affected by this, and he had a very serious case with diabetes being the underlying factor. So it's very close to my heart, and I'm sure to many of you as well. Some facts about diabetes. According to Lancet, more than 500 million people, 500 million is 500 million people, live with diabetes worldwide. And it affects men, women, and children. It is projected that in another 30 years, this number will be 1.3 billion people. That is so many, and in all countries around the world. In Kenya, which is where most of us here are coming from, according to Lancet, Kenya was ranked by the International Diabetes Federation as the 31st African country in terms of diabetes prevalence, with about 460 cases out of every 10,000 people. That's quite a big number. That's about 4 to 5% of the population affected by diabetes. So we are talking about a very serious case, a very serious issue. And so it is important, one, to understand diabetes, and then two, to understand its management. So maybe just to start off and get us involved and get us active in this program, I hope you came in with your pen and paper. I have just 5 very simple questions to get us into the mood and to help us to understand our topic of the day. So, pen and paper ready? Good. So how would you describe diabetes? What is diabetes? If you had to explain it to your 5-year-old, what would you say diabetes is? So that's question number 1. What is diabetes? Okay. All right. Question number 2. Which organ malfunctions that makes us get diabetes? So which organ malfunctions for somebody to get diabetes? Number 3, how many types of diabetes do you know? Very easy. That's like a bonus question. How many types of diabetes do you know? Number 4, is diabetes curable? Or is it like when you get diabetes, you're condemned to death? That is the end of you. So is diabetes curable? And number 5, can you name some symptoms of diabetes? Sylvester, you're smart, eh? So name some symptoms of diabetes. Okay, it's manageable, you say. Well, the details shall come out in this program. Why? Because we have a panel of experts. I'd just like you to meet the team so that you know who is behind this program. And we would like to start off first with the founder of Dtlc, and that is Dr. Ojwang, Dr. Alice Ojwang. Shall we see you? Okay, so that's Dr. Ojwang, the brains behind all of this. And she says the brains behind her, or what encouraged her to get into diabetes, is Dr. Atieno Jalango, a diabetes expert. So we didn't come to play, guys. We came with very serious panelists to help us to know what we're talking about. So there's Dr. Jalango. And then there's Mildred Nyange. Mildred is our resident nutritionist. And she watches to see what we are doing, and she'll always be keeping an eye to see where we are going wrong and helping us to get back on track. So that is the team. And my name is Lorraine Osano. I'm your host for DTLC.
Mhm.
So to start off, we don't have too much time today. And to keep it, we have to keep it going. So to keep the flow and to start off, what is the DTLC program? What is the structure? You'll hear the voices of all the panelists, so I didn't ask them to speak. So we start off by asking Dr. Ojwang to talk about the program. What is DTLC? Welcome, Dr. Ojwang.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lorraine, and welcome everybody. Would like to take this opportunity to thank you for being here, and we'd also like to thank Old Mutual for supporting the program. For the last 4 or 5 years, we've been looking for support and a sponsor, and we have Old Mutual on board, and we are very grateful, and we are so proud of you, Old Mutual, to be the first insurance company in the world to actually work with dietitians and support persons with chronic diseases. Even though we are talking about diabetes, this program also supports other people who do not have diabetes. And so we'll tell you what about this. And just before we go on, I think, Lorraine, you want to tell people about the program, what you're going to do in the next hour.
Okay. So first, I think I'm done with my part, the nutrition greeting. So Dr. John talks about the DTLC program, and that is what she's starting to do just now. Dr. Jalango, the diabetes expert, will talk about the power of diabetes education. Sylvester said it's manageable, so how? Let's hear what Dr. Ajalango tells us. Experiences of participants. So is it real? So we'll have a few people who've gone through the 6 cohorts tell us how it worked for them and did they manage to reverse their diabetes or at least manage it better. And then finally, Mildred, our nutritionist, will tell us about her experience in the DTLC program and also the investment of the value that we get from this program. And I will conclude. So over to you, Dr. Ojwang.
Okay. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about the DTLC program. So this is the orientation program. So the season 7, week 1 starts next week on Monday, and that will only be for the participants who have committed themselves to join the program. So obesity, I'll just go straight. So Diabesity is the name of our organization. It's called Diabesity Nutrition Centre. And why do I say diabesity? Because it's a term used to describe the combined and adverse health effects of obesity combined with diabetes. So if our weight is high, it's only a matter of time before we actually start living with diabetes. So we want to avoid that by all means. Statistics have already been told to you by Lorraine Osano, but all of us, as long as you pass the age 40, your risk of diabetes increases. It's almost up to 50%, and your diet. Some years back, I was in a conference, 2011, and one of the things that was coming out is that the amount of starch on your plate is going to determine the risk of chronic diseases, amount of starch on your plate. And we know how much starch we consume. So what is this program, this 12 weeks program? So let's just dive into it so you have an idea of what the program is all about. We're also recording this session, and so you will be able to listen to it later if you need to think more about it. So I'd like to tell you that the last 6 seasons, we've had people from Africa, and you can see, because it's an online program, we've had people from different countries. So we've had Ghana, we've had South Africa, Zambia, we've had Ethiopia, we've had South Sudan, and we've also had Germany, we've had UK, we've had Canada, we've had United States. And so the program keeps growing. And so soon it will be a global program. So we are proud that this program is helping people not only here in Kenya, but also around the world. So this is my motivation. Taking drugs without eating properly is like washing your hands and drying them in the dirt. For a long time, I have been practicing nutrition for the last 24 years and still counting. And I know, I can tell you, if you do 1, 2, 3, you will reduce the dosage of medication you're taking. You may put your diabetes into remission. You will lose weight. You will reverse your conditions like high cholesterol, your poor immune system, fatigue. I have done it for long and I know. And if you're here and you're taking drugs, you should know that if you're taking these drugs and you're not eating properly, you've not talked to a dietitian who's passionate about nutrition, then it's like washing your hands and drying them in the dirt. And a friend of mine says it's like washing your hands and drying them in the garbage. So now I think I got your attention. Let's go. So what we do at DTLC, the main program is to support, the main goal really is to support everybody. And over the years, I've realized when you work with an individual, they never get to do all the 12 weeks that they need to do. They come once and they disappear. But when you have a program like this and you commit yourself, then you're able to get all the trainings that you need, and that helps you to achieve your goals. So we support clients, and not just the team, the health team that you've met, but the members of the program also support you to achieve your dietary goals, your fitness goals, your health goals, and your lifestyle goals. Remember, if you are living with diabetes, you will need medication for diabetes. You have high cholesterol, you will need medication for high cholesterol. You have high blood pressure, you will need medication for blood pressure. And then because all these things affect your eyes and your kidney, they'll give you drugs to protect your kidney, to protect your eye. And before you know it, sorry, let me remove this. Before you know it, you're taking this much drugs. Can you see that? Eh? You're taking so much medication. Lorraine, you can see the drugs?
Yes, I can, but I don't know if you want to put the... It's
Yes,
okay.
I can see them.
You can see. You think about it and how many will you be taking? So, but when it is dietary, fitness, and lifestyle, it just a good learning how to eat healthy is going to hit all these conditions. All of it. It's one lifestyle medicine is a solution for all these conditions. So what is the structure? So we have 12 weeks. We meet every week, once a week on Zoom, like today. We meet on Mondays at 8 p.m. And because we are going to have two programs running concurrently, one for diabetes and one for people without diabetes, we will meet on Monday, 8 p.m. and Tuesday, 8 p.m. So this is the time that we have found works well after running 7 programs. And why we are saying 7? Because we've done 6 in Kenya and we did 1 in the UK. So ideally this should be season 8, but because we are Kenya based, it's season 7. So you get a weekly topic, and then you have a challenge for the week, and through the week you apply that challenge or the education you're supposed to apply. We get feedback from the professionals, you get feedback from the participants, we have discussions, we have a WhatsApp group, and we also provide resources. All the meetings are recorded, but they're only available to the participants of the team. So you will not get any video out there for all the sessions. So we have open discussions, the videos are recorded, and so if you miss the session, then you can actually watch it. So you can, and then you have it for life, because you will be, if you forget, you can go back. So we have DTLC season 7, which is for persons with diabetes or pre-diabetes. They may also have other chronic conditions. Why do we separate them from the others? Because diabetes requires a lot more education, and you will see why. But people with chronic diseases without diabetes, you also need information, but it's different from what a person living with diabetes needs. So if we put them together, we talk too much about diabetes and they always miss out. Even though we have had them together once or twice, and everybody still benefited, but it's only fair that we separate them so you get what you deserve to get for the 12 weeks. So the one for only diabetic persons or persons living with diabetes starts on the 22nd. That means next week on Monday at 8 p.m. and we start then. These are some of the topics that we have. So we have disease-specific information. Then we have diabetes education. So in diabetes education, we will have glucose monitoring, okay? We will have medication management, carbohydrate intelligence, food care, and we'll have others. We usually have up to 6 nutrition sessions, including your portion sizes, meal planning, relationship with food, emotional eating, and many others. Then we have fitness and health, and we have circadian rhythm, social networks, sexual health. We have a whole range of programs up to 24 weeks, but also others is by demand. So we send out a questionnaire once you've enrolled into the program. And then if there's something that you really think you need, then we can also add it. And we have extras. So the activities is nutrition and health education. We also have patient monitoring and evaluation. So we need you to keep filling out questionnaires so we know what are your challenges, what can we do more, how can we help you more. We have weekly challenges, frequently asked questions, and we send you nutrition information, which we are going to see a little bit in a short while. So this is some of the things we do. We ask people to put their food pictures on the WhatsApp group. And when I have the food pictures together with the nutritionist, Mildred, and we always have an intern nutritionist, then we are going to, then we assess the food. So we look at different foods, you post your foods, we look at them, then we analyze and tell you where the problem is and what you can do better. And maybe for this session, I'm going to give you an example on how you should eat. So pay attention, my friends. Some good things are coming. So one of the favorite sessions is carbohydrate intelligence for most people. And over the years, working with this session, this is what has really, I see it's one of the sessions that really impact diabetes care and diabetes management. For example, this is what people consider, I'm sorry, this my slide is a bit whitewashed, but I think you can see it. A healthy breakfast consists of, most people think cereals, toast, and fruit juice. But if we analyze this in the amount of carbohydrates in it, which actually is estimated to be amount of sugar. So 5 grams of carbohydrate is equivalent to a teaspoon of sugar. So if you eat like cornflakes, that's about 30 grams only, is about 8.4 teaspoons of sugar. Milk, about 125, is a teaspoon of sugar. 1 slice of bread is equivalent to 3 teaspoons of sugar. And if you take a glass of juice, 200 ml, that's about 8.6 teaspoons of sugar. So if you're eating like that, and this is your breakfast, and most people think this is a very healthy meal. First of all, you have 3 types of carbohydrates, and it means you're taking 21, literally, you're taking 21 teaspoons of sugar. Tell me if you eat like that, are we ever going to control your blood sugar? Will you ever reduce your medication? So if you drink juices in this group, and you are taking diabetes medication, and you take lots of bread and lots of carbohydrates, just stop it from today and see the difference. The other thing is sometimes we take fruits because unfortunately, our health system, sometimes, everybody advises you for nutrition. So sometimes it's the nurse, sometimes it's the doctor, sometimes it's somebody walking in the street. Oh, take a lot of fruit, it's good for you. It's not good, my friend. It's not good. Oh, let me say like my brothers in West Africa. 1 banana alone can be up to 6 teaspoons of sugar. So you eat your lunch or your meal with starch, with bread, and then you come and add a banana on top. What do you expect? Your sugars will go high. And so you need to know which are the fruits I can eat that don't have a lot of sugar. And that's one of the things we do here. So how does eating like that impact your sugar? If we analyze our local food in terms of the teaspoons of sugar, you can see if you have just 150 grams of rice, which is not much, like maybe just a handful, that is about 9 teaspoons of sugar, okay? And if you have brown rice, it's 6 teaspoons of sugar. So you see, brown rice is better. However, the quantities still matter. If you have chapati, a lot of us like chapatis. The white chapati is going to give you 16 teaspoons of sugar, a large one like that, fat and a little thick. If you have a brown one, it's almost more or less the same, 14 teaspoons of sugar. So the difference is not much. Always the whole is better. However, if you're going to have 2-3 chapatis, you can see how much sugars you're having. And this is what impacts your blood sugar. So the more carbohydrates you have in your plate, the higher the blood sugars. And it's not only affecting the blood sugar, it's affecting your cholesterol level, it's affecting your weight, And then what happens? You go to the doctor, they add you more medication to control your blood sugar. You go, oh, my cholesterol is high. They put you on medication. The higher your glucose is, the more medication they give you to protect your kidney, to protect your heart. And so you keep piling medication. You're taking 9 medications a day, 10 medications a day. That means your diabetes is only getting worse, and it's only going to end you in more trouble if you don't change your dietary intake. And you can see beans falls under carbohydrate. It has proteins, but this much beans will give you about 5 teaspoons of sugar. So here we teach you how to identify the carbohydrates and how to have the portions, but you're still full and eating healthy and enjoying your food. And we're not recommending boiled food. You can eat your food with as tasty, with sufficient oil, with spices, but we teach you to learn portions. So let's look at examples of some plates that people have shared. So this is what we call double carbohydrates. So if you're eating beans and potatoes, that's 2 types of carbohydrates. That is going to impact your blood sugars. So you cannot eat 2 carbohydrates. This person is eating chapati with rice, 2 carbohydrates. Here we have potatoes, rice, mokimo, 3 carbohydrates in 1 meal. That is going to impact your sugar. And if you're always eating like that, you should know that your sugars will not get better until you change. Look at this. So this is also beans and bananas. This one is having porridge and 2 fruits. That is going to shoot your blood sugar. And this one has chapati. Then you have beans and potatoes mixed together. My friend, that is trouble. I think you get the point. The more carbohydrates you have on your plate, the higher the blood sugar, and the more you will get into poor control of your blood sugar and get into risk of developing complications. So you can see what happens here, all right? So we have here, this is 3 carbohydrates, very nice looking food, but this is plantain, and then we have chapati, and then we have beans. So if we calculate this, even without calculating the bananas, we haven't calculated the banana. 1 chapati is 16 teaspoons of sugar. This much beans is 5 teaspoons. So before calculating even the plantain, you're already taking 21 teaspoons in your sugar. It's literally taking 21 teaspoons of sugar. That is going to raise your blood sugar. Okay? And this is another example. Here is somebody's meal. And this is how people eat. And so we want you to be able to tell us how you eat so we can help you. A cup of porridge, a cup of yogurt, fruit, and some wholemeal bread. Of course, it sounds like it's healthy, but it's not. It's not healthy. That's a lot of sugar. So if we calculate this, we have 4 teaspoons of sugar from the yogurt. We have about 1 teaspoon, this is 3 teaspoons from the bread, and you have 2 slices. So that is 6 teaspoons. So already the bread and the yogurt is 10 teaspoons of sugar, and the fruit is about 3 teaspoons. If you added sugar on your tea, so it's trouble. So this is what happens. After a few weeks, you see the difference. People start changing the food. And because we all share our foods, so we also learn from other people. We learn new recipes. We learn how to combine foods. And we learn to separate our foods. One of the things we do is we cook so many things together. That's not nutritious. Remember, this food is supposed to give us also nutrients and make us healthy. So we help you to do that. So we also use an application that helps people to record their fitness. So we will be able to see your fitness. How many steps are you doing? So people start slowly and then increase. We can see some people are leading the pack, and we post this on the WhatsApp group every day, and it motivates people. So you see if somebody is always on 2,000 steps, then they start to make an effort. And within 6 weeks, we find that everybody is making 10,000 steps. Everybody is happy. And so we are happy, and we are all making progress. So what are the expectations? So our expectations for the participants is you need to take your blood test. So if you're somebody who's managing diabetes, you need to take your HbA1c, okay, and a lipid profile. We shall provide you what you need to do, but just not too many. Just HbA1c is enough, and to take your weight and other measurements that you wish, all right? And if you have high cholesterol, then you need to do your lipid profile. If you're hypertensive, you need to measure your blood pressure. And we give you all the charts that you need to do that. Also recommend apps that you can use if you don't need to use paper. And so we expect you to attend all the sessions, participate in all the activities, and complete all your assignments, and you will see the results. I can see somebody ticking my work as we go. How about resources? How about expectations from the Dtlc? We provide resources. And then, of course, I can tell you for sure, if you follow, you will have improved outcomes, better control of diabetes, medication reduction for all chronic conditions, blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and name whatever medication you're taking. Potential remission of type 2 diabetes. Some people have been able to reverse in just 12 weeks. Some people reverse a little bit later. And weight loss and more. Resources, we have a lot. We have books, we have videos. So we give you meal plan guides, food list, carbohydrate information. We give you books to be able to track your food intake, fitness evaluation, and more. Something like fitness evaluation, we do fitness test. So we meet physically, but that one you pay extra because we now get a physical person to do a fitness test. We all go to do blood tests, we take our weight, but what's your fitness? You need to know what you're working on. So we are able to do a fitness test for the team. So sometimes we do it online and sometimes we do it face to face. So it depends on the response of people. And this is the team. So we have this team, but then we also have our psychologist and we also have our podiatrist. So thank you very much. I think I stop there now. We shall share the case studies a little bit later. Thank you. Over to you, Miss Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you. That's how it is. In 12 weeks, you can reverse diabetes. That's a good goal, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. However, it is best to have education so that we know what to do. Did you know that if you ate rice and beans or githeri, it's 2 carbohydrates and therefore so many spoons of sugar? That is very important information. We call that carbohydrate intelligence. To get even more intelligent, let us invite Dr. Jalango, who will take us through the power of diabetes education. Welcome, Dr. Jalango.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Lorraine, and thank you, Alice, for that introduction. This evening, I will just give you a brief overview as to what diabetes education really is and how powerful it can be. In the past 25 plus years of diabetes practice, I have been able to see tremendous things attributed to diabetes education. It has changed lives. It has saved people from losing their limbs, their eyes, etc. So the power of diabetes education. I will go through an introduction and overview of why we need good diabetes self-care and how we achieve that, and then just go to final tips, just making it short and sweet. So the power of diabetes education is basically lies in its contribution it makes to self-care. So diabetes self-management education is all about knowledge and skills. Just give me 1 minute.
This is
Up and down. This is what is referred to as high variation. And this variability is what creates problems. So the peaks and the troughs, So, or your mountains and your valleys have to be short. The shorter and gentler they are, the better for you. So you need to have the knowledge to know what in my life impacts my blood glucose. And you can't know that unless you are trained. You have some knowledge and you have some skills to execute certain things that will ensure that you do not have high variability of your blood glucose. Now, then in the long run, you run into trouble. Why? You start getting impacts of variable glucose, and these are what creates organ damage. And the moment you have complications of diabetes, then mental anguish, physical pain, and high health costs. So we need to be very, very careful when we have diabetes to ensure that we reduce the glucose variability or variations, and we protect our brain, our eyes, your heart, your teeth, your kidneys, your blood vessels, your nerves, and even your feet. So diabetes affects all the bodies, and it is for this reason that it is so important that you are equipped with the right knowledge and skills to be able to take good care of yourself. So these problems can be avoided, yes. How? By investing in self-care, getting knowledge and knowing what to do, getting the skills, being equipped to do what is necessary. When you have knowledge and skills, then you can make informed decisions. So whether you choose to do whether you go the right way or you go in an adverse way, you are doing it with information, So that is the basis of empowerment. And then hopefully praying that 75% of the time, at least, you're choosing well, then you're most likely to have great outcomes. But this is all based on your choices. And it is for this reason that I would say coming into the Dtlc program is a wise investment. Why? It's putting your resources to good use to acquire knowledge and skills that will help you protect yourself against the adverse outcomes of high glucose variability. So this knowledge and skills that you will go through if you choose the program over the course of the next 12 weeks are things that should be life-changing. You should invest in them and keep them for life. Whatever skills you acquire, keep them for life. And you will see that you'll gain the benefit. There is evidence to prove that good self-care as a result of good diabetes education and impartation of skills actually can ward off diabetes, and good education, diabetes education can actually reduce your HbA1c by up to 2%. So diabetes education is a very powerful tool that is often ignored. So the basis of your diabetes education will be addressing 7 self-care behaviors. We want you to be a problem solver, not always looking to your healthcare professional for all the answers. You can be able to solve a lot of the answers. And you need to reduce your risk of complications. It is possible. We are by taking good care of themselves.
Sorry. Okay. You can unmute yourself, Atieno.
Then the other thing is you need to keep track. The only way you know that you're progressing well is by monitoring. And then, of course, some people may be taking medication. You need to know what your medication is, what are the side effects, and how do they work. Very important. Then, of course, healthy eating, which Alice has gone through. Healthy coping. Chronic illnesses put a lot of stress on us mentally, physically, and you need to cope well. Otherwise, you'll run into trouble. And then most important is being active. Activity will actually ensure that you are in good mental health, and then, of course, also physically well, and it helps with weight management. So to end this, I can say knowledge is power. Ignorance is no defense. I'm telling you, not with diabetes. You cannot afford not to know, and you cannot afford not to do what you know. Otherwise, you can pay dearly. So Dtlc will give you the power to thrive and rise over diabetes. So thank you very much.
Thank you
Over to
very
you,
much.
Lorraine.
Thank you very, very much. You cannot afford not to know. That ignorance is very expensive. I think that is what Dr. Jalango has brought out. And therefore, this program affords you the opportunity to learn what to do so that you can thrive. But is it really so? Do we have case studies? Is it, are we telling stories? Well, let's have the real stories. Dr. Joan, please tell us, how has the program impacted on some people, especially those with diabetes?
Okay, I'm just going to play a video because I cannot see them on the group. So let me just share the screen. Yeah, maybe you can take a question as I get the video.
Okay, so who's the brave soul? One question for Dr. Jalango, as Dr. Joan puts herself up to one question. Going once. Are we shocked by what we've just learned?
Life.
So we don't want to talk?
It's such a great thing to do.
Okay. I'll just play one from here and then one from the next. Yeah.
Thank you. And that is really magnanimous.
Yeah. Nice to hear from you, Regina, because that's your field, and we're glad that we were able to impact even you. Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe from one of the participants, I'll ask maybe Stacy. Is Stacy here today? She had a very good story. What would you say, Stacy, if there's somebody listening, and I saw somebody asking on the chat, is this really true? What's your answer? Hi.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, everybody. Like you
she's here
said,
live.
I lack words. This has been, it's given me a new lease of life. I think you guys will remember when I joined, my sugars were crazy. And it's through this program that I actually found out that I'm not a type 2 diabetic. I'm actually a type 1. So thank you very much, because I would never have known, right? Secondly, I have learned a ton. And I honestly wish I can join another DTLC session, another season, because what I have learned, I don't think I would have learned it anywhere else, to be very honest. Because what I knew before was that you just get medication and then you're on medication for life, and it looked like a very hopeless situation. But DTLC has broken it down very well. I've learned about the meals, I thought that, you just, it's like at times I would eat like 3 carbohydrates without knowing. And I'm like, why am I not having my sugars controlled? You'll remember my sugars were 15, sometimes even 21. But DTLC has shown me, number 1, how to eat. Number 2, given me hope. Yeah. Through everybody who's been here, I've realized that I'm not alone. At some point, I think I was very, very depressed and very stressed. And I said, you know what? It's a hopeless situation. But I've learned that, first of all, your socials. I realized that my socials impact on my nutrition and impact on my health. This program has shown me the discipline of measuring my sugars. I didn't quite have that in the beginning, and I was afraid of pricks. And I think no one has talked about it, but we had a session where there's a continuous glucose monitoring, which I never knew before. So I've actually ordered for some from the States, and that they should be able to help me once I get them to monitor my sugars and just know at any one point what are my sugars like.
Mm-hmm.
I think I cannot even say exactly what kind of value I've received because it's invaluable. I'm able to have hope. Right now, I'm just thinking, wow, everybody needs to hear this. And as somebody said, it's a movement. And I think DTLC is going to sort of help one person at a time to reach all diabetics. We lose hope, and you enter somewhere, people are like, oh, here comes a diabetic. And I think the DTLC has helped me understand that, look, I'm not a pariah. I'm normal like anybody else. I can live a normal life. And most of all, I can be able to eat right. Yeah. I've been able to learn how to eat vegetables. I used to eat a lot of cooked vegetables, but through the lessons on eating vegetables that are uncooked, I think that variety also I've learned. I never knew. I just would eat the same kind of food all the time. And I think this program has brought that to the fore. And then maybe finally, I learned a lot about PCOS. My daughter has PCOS, so it's something that has been bothering us, and we've learned what to do because of the PCOS. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank the faculty. I mean, you guys have been awesome. I think you're very understanding. You've sort of seen a lot of people like us, and you have an empathetic spirit that other people don't have. People really get impatient with diabetics, and it's like, you understand, take your meds and go. But you guys have really taken us through. You have helped us even exercise. I remember the session we had for exercise. It was real fun. And I've been also able to walk. Before I was a couch potato, and I just feel so tired. You know, that vicious cycle of feeling tired. Then you eat, and then your sugar goes up, and then you slump because you can't walk. I'm really progressing well. And as of today, I also still had the 10,000 steps. I'm like, wow, okay, it's doable. So you've helped me in a way. I'm not where I was 12 weeks ago. So thank you very much because of all that. Thank you so much. All of you, Dr. Juang, Dr. Hiba, Dr. Maina, thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, all those who've made this possible. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good story.
Yay.
Very
Yeah. So do we have now?
Do we have another one?
We have one more. Okay, let me find it. Are there questions on the chat?
Yes, we do. So Lydia, I think, will read out the questions for us.
Okay, let's play this and then we can take another question.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we can see your face. Maybe just lean back a bit so we can see your face nicely. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
So Rosemary is from all the way from Zambia. Yeah.
Yes. I joined this group because I wanted to improve on my health on diabetes type 2. So this has really been a problem on my part. Initially, I had joined a group for keto. It really did not work well for me because in keto, they would advise us to take meat even at night. But in this DTLC, I've learned that I'm not supposed to take protein at night, which has really helped me. I also had a problem in sleep. I could only sleep for 4 hours. I doze off at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. And at 11, I get up. I'll be thinking I've been sleeping for a very long time when I have not been. And it took me long again to get back to sleep. But now I'm able to sleep very well because I learned about circadian rhythm and also social networking. When you keep too much light on the phone, social networking with your friends at night is a wrong time to do that. So because it affects your health, it affects your sleep. I would also really want to thank the TDLC resource persons, the doctors, and all those that have come in between the programs to help us. It has really, really been helpful. I was looking also forward to reducing the intake of tablets. I was taking metformin 500 milligrams in the morning and 500 milligrams in the evening, plus 2 milligram glimepiride in the morning and in the evening. But I'm happy to say here that I'm only taking 500 milligrams of metformin and 2 milligrams of metformin per day, that is. And then for BP, I was taking 3 tablets. So one has been dropped. I was found that I've lost total loss of cholesterol. I don't have cholesterol anymore. Yeah. And I saw that at the time I started associating with Dtlc, I've also lost another 2 kgs, 2.2 kgs, which is a plus on my part. Though, yeah, I have to go back to my old wardrobe, which is really good for me.
Yes.
Yeah, because at the time I was doing keto, I lost about 14 kgs. So I had to do a new wardrobe. And now,
I think unmute,
You're
please,
muted.
Rosemary. Please unmute, Rosemary.
Sorry
It's
about
okay,
that.
just the last sentence. Mhm. Your
yeah,
new
I was
wardrobe,
saying, come again?
your new wardrobe, that's what you said last.
Oh, yeah. I have 2 wardrobes. I used to wear size 18. I used to wear size 18. I dropped to size 10. Then I picked up to size 14. I'm now back at size 12. So I have enough to cover myself. So really, the other thing that I really want to thank the group is the group work. Group work is really, really encouraging, because when you are doing it on your own, you'd think you are doing much and better. But when you find that others, you like compete. So from that, you get encouraged. You draw courage from those that are doing better than you. So you say, if they can do it, I can as well do it. So you work more. It has really helped me. And also discipline in the intake of carbohydrate and in the intake of protein, and also to know what to eat, what time you are supposed to eat that kind of food. It has also really helped me. As at now, I can confirm that I'm really sleeping very, very well, 8 hours from 10 up to about 6 o'clock in the morning. I thought, in fact, I was of the view that a person with diabetes would wake up at night 2-3 times, but that was a wrong myth. I've seen that with diabetes, you can still sleep for 8 hours without having, intermittent sleeps. So it's the way, the lifestyle that we adopt that makes us suffer in the night. But after joining this group, I've really benefited very well. The program was so impacted with a lot of information, which is really, really helpful to us. And sometimes I even share it with my friends that have diabetes. I've also invited them here. I don't know whether they've logged in, but I did that. I extended the invitation to them. So I've also learned that discipline is very, very cardinal in the way we manage our diet. So I think for now, that's what I can say. There is a lot more to say, but because of time, I'll just end up here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay.
Dr. Juang, is that it, or do you have another testimonial?
I don't know if we have time, but maybe we can take questions, and then there's somebody else who can talk. Maybe we can give an opportunity. Janet Mukami.
Yes.
Where are you? Put your hand up so we can spot you easily. So Stacy was even here live, okay? Yeah. Okay. Lorraine? Talk to Mukam.
Okay, Janet, welcome from one of our last cohorts. Was it the last one, number Dtlc 6, eh?
Yes.
Okay, good. So tell us what's been the benefit of joining Dtlc?
Well, good evening, everyone. I must say that this class or these sessions have really changed my life. Some of the things that I learned that I didn't even know about was something like the circadian rhythm, carbs intelligence. That was a big one for me. Emotional eating. I was a victim because I would eat when I'm not happy, when I'm anxious, when I'm confused, when I'm excited. Food was everything for me. And every time I ate as driven by emotions, I'll eat the wrong things. I'll eat a lot of carbs. So from this class, I was able to learn how to have mindful eating versus mindless eating. So what the questions that were being asked is, why are you eating? What are you eating? When do you eat? How much do you eat? When, all those things that you never think about when you take your plate and sit down and eat. And the other thing was like portioning. How much is in your plate? So you get to learn how much of what should be in your plate. And then, of course, there was the part of fitness. That was also a big one for me because working out was not something I really enjoyed, but I have been pushed. And every time I work out, I feel I have less pain. I have more energy. Like before, when I used to be a couch potato. There is also the whole issue of getting information that we didn't know, like sleeping 8 hours. I didn't have a problem sleeping, but I didn't know the benefits of it. And the fact that you need to have 8 hours uninterrupted sleep. I didn't think that even waking up to go to the bathroom, that amounts to interrupted sleep. So it's just trying to work around the things that we have been doing and we didn't know we were doing wrong. So as I sit here, I can say that information is power. For a lot of people who I have interacted with, we usually have the same habits, birds of the same feather flock together. So in this class, you are taught to work around your networks. And having a group really helped because we are able to compare foods. We are able to challenge each other. What did you eat? This is too much. This is less. Or how many steps did you take? Then you realize you took less. You feel, I need to pull up my socks. So you are very, very encouraged. And when I look at this, I remember one quote that we were told, that your genes load the gun, your lifestyle pulls the trigger. That for me stood out because I have an autoimmune condition, and I still have another relative who has a different type of autoimmune condition. And you realize my challenges are different from hers, but our lifestyles are different. Where she eats, where she lives, what she does, we do them very differently. So my lifestyle has changed. I am very careful where I source my food, my vegetables. I really try to do organic food. I try to do whole carbs. That has become a new normal for me. So what are the benefits I got from this class? One, I lost some weight. The top I'm wearing now, I could not wear it when we started. It couldn't pass my bust. And now I'm wearing it and there's some room. So I have a lot of hope that I will continue to lose more weight until I have the ideal. The other benefit is I see a rheumatologist, and every time I go to him, he's happy about two things. My weight is going down and my health is getting better. So he has reduced some tabs that I take. And of course, now I can identify my triggers. We were told that you need to check your own life and know what affects you, because it doesn't, whatever affects you might not necessarily affect another person with the same condition. So now I know what to eat and what not to eat. And I don't eat more than I should eat. Before I used to eat without thinking, and that was mindless eating. So I would eat and forget I couldn't register that I am full. So I'd eat until I finish what I served. But then, of course, even the portions were wrong. So now I am I am living a well-informed life. I am making informed decisions when it comes to my lifestyle. And even as I interact with my friends, some of them are telling me I've become very strict with myself. But I understand, as Dr. Atieno was saying, it is your own responsibility to manage your health. So the doctor will guide, but I have to apply. And I think when I look at what I have done so far, I am really happy that I joined that cohort. Thank you very much, all of you, for allowing me to learn from a lot of things that you told us. And that is my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And what a wonderful story.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So it's nice that Jane Mokami was there in the flesh. Yes? It's not just recordings, it's real people who have been in the cohorts and have benefited from the program. So clearly, it is a beautiful program. It is what gives us knowledge. It helps us to take control of our lives so that we manage our diabetes. But there's an element to it. There's an investment element to it. So Dr. Mildred Nyange, you're not yet doctor, almost there. So do tell us, what has been your experience as a nutritionist in the program? And also, what do we need to invest? How much do we need to invest to be part of this?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Lorraine. Yeah, so as a nutritionist, I joined DTLC from season 5 fully. 4, I was in, out, but from 5, 6, and 7, I've been there fully, right? So yeah, I'm a nutritionist, a professional, I lecture. I've worked with Dr. Alice for the longest time, but yeah, even as we are human, so these things don't just come easy. You have to work. You have to work at it. So my journey started, yeah, Lorraine told us here that she has a dad who is diabetic. But for me, I know for sure that I'm a pre-diabetic because I have 3 kids, 2 kids. I was having gestational diabetes. So yeah, after giving birth, it goes away. But I know that I'm a pre-diabetic. And if I don't keep my health in check, if I don't keep my lifestyle in check, definitely I will be diagnosed with diabetes sooner rather than later. So what did I decide to do? I decided, 1, I need to up my game on exercise, right? So my journey started during COVID. COVID time, everybody was indoors. I started with 3,000 steps. And currently I'm doing 10,000 steps at least 5 times a week. And trying to carry some, have some weightlifting, as age progresses, perimenopause and menopause, you need to start lifting weights to improve your muscle. Secondly, my diet. I knew that now I have to start planning my meals, taking a lot of raw vegetables especially. I do that at least 4 times a week. I have to make sure that I've taken raw vegetables and variety. Taking breakfast, very important, proper breakfast, so that you can last for the whole day without taking any other meals, avoiding binge eating during the day. Carbohydrate intelligence helped me a lot. I know now I have a lot of I eat consciously, conscious eating, the emotional eating, your relationship with food. It has really helped me in this journey. I also have people around me who are diabetic. My husband is diabetic. My mom and dad are diabetic and hypertensive. So joining the program has also helped me to try and manage them better. I know you can't do everything for them, but you can try and manage them better. Talk to them, tell them this is what you can do. And if they pick a thing or two, the people around you also get the changes, right? The other thing that happened to me is better managing my husband. He's diabetic, putting the right food on the table for him, preparing the right food on the table for him, and just making sure that anytime he wants to eat, he eats the right, if he wants to, he will eat the right thing that is in the house. His glucose monitoring. I also monitor my glucose because I've told you that I'm pre-diabetic. So I also monitor. We monitor together, right? Then The group therapy, definitely. The WhatsApp group that we have, the exercise group that we have, the participants have said it. I cannot reiterate it more than that. So moving on to the investment. I know so many people, this is what the question they want to ask. How much are we investing? I think it should be more of rather like, how much do you want us to pay? We want to pay now. Because if I always think of it this way, the same way you sit down with your banker, the same way you sit down with your financial planner and planning and saying, this is how my money is going to be used. It's the same way you should be sitting down and planning your health. Like, how many times am I going to see the nutritionist? How many times am I going to exercise in the gym? How much am I going to pay in the gym? So that as you're saving this money in the bank, as you're saving this money, you know, we all have all these money markets and all these financial things that we know. Why are we saving all this money? So that we can spend it in our pension years. But if we are not careful, we are going to spend money, all the money in our pension years in hospital, just like Jalango has said, Dr. Jalango has said it. So it shouldn't even be about the numbers. So it's not so much money for the participants who are joining who want to join for Dtlc 7. We are paying 30,000 for those who will pay after we start next week. If you pay after 22nd, you will pay 30,000. But if you pay from now up to early birds, you will pay 25,000. Only for you to get a lifetime investment. And for the Old Mutual participants, those who want to join and they have Old Mutual insurance, please talk to your insurance provider to tell you how much that we are charging, right? So don't look at it as really a lot of money, but it should be, to you, look at it as a lifetime investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mildred. As you heard, we have podiatrists, we have mental health experts, we have Dr. Atieno Jalango, we have Dr. Ojuang, we have Dr. Hiba from the UK, we have enough doctors here. So if we had to pay for every session, it would be so much more than what Mildred is telling us about. So think about the investment. It's actually really, really good for you. So think about the value. That is what we're selling, value. So that is the last part of our session. We had just 1 hour, but we'll take at least 1 or 2 burning questions. I've been seeing Dr. Jalango responding to questions on the chat, so I hope people have their answers as we've been going. But there's one person, Jason Jeru, has been putting up his hand, I think, through half the session. So let's hear what your question is. The doctors will be here to answer you. Jason Jeru? Jason?
This is a mistake.
Okay, maybe that's why it was up for very long. Any other question? We can take at least 2. Pardon?
Okay, he's speaking, but we can't hear him well.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No,
it's very low.
Oh, and what about now?
Yeah,
okay.
Better.
Yeah, okay. My name is Lina. I am a daughter to Jason Jero, and I have a question. I have a relative who is diabetic.
We've lost you now.
Move closer to the mic.
Already she has a diabetic foot ulcer, and she's been told that they are going to amputate those the fingers that have the sores. So please kindly advise or educate us more on that.
Dr. Jalango, are you going to answer that?
Because it's hard to answer that question fully, because that's now like sadly the end point of diabetes that maybe has not been well controlled, because that's as a result of blood glucose problems as well as nerve problems. But the best thing is, if you're not so sure, if the patient is not admitted, then it would be wise to get a second opinion. We have podiatrists who have saved feet sometimes, but it also depends on the extent of the food. And that's why I told you it's really a hard question to answer without seeing that food. Because I may be putting you up to with the information that you may use, and it may not be helpful in her case. So the best way is, if she's at home, you can write to us. We can refer you to our podiatrist. She can have a look at that foot, and if it's something that's not viable, she'll be able to let you know whether that amputation is required. But usually the amputation is usually the end point of damaged blood vessels and nerves, and therefore wounds cannot heal in the lower extremity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. It's a very, very tough choice. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. But maybe, are you in which part of the country are you? Are you in Nairobi, or where are you?
Yeah, we are in Nairobi, but she's in Meru County in the hospital. She's still admitted.
Okay. So maybe take our number and we can talk, but it would be good to get a second opinion. If you're in Nairobi, we would gladly send you to our podiatrist, who's Sally Karaoke, who has actually helped to save some foot from being amputated. Yes. So I'll just post Sally's number here on the chat, and then you can give her a call. But you will need to work fast. If you need a second opinion, you will need to work very fast. It's not going to be you're waiting for another month. It has to be like an emergency to see a second opinion and then see if the food can be saved or not. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, we had Zablon's hand up. Oh, Zablon? Okay. We're here to answer your questions, so feel free to ask.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been attending from Busia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was diagnosed. I don't even know whether it is. I've even refused to accept anyway. But I was diagnosed with the diabetes last year.
Mm.
After my blood had shot to 12.1, I think the highest it has gone is 13. At first, I was taking so many medicines, but now I'm taking just one, Glucowel, 1 tablet a day. Now, my question is, and I'm also insured with Old Mutual, and I really want to join this program. You talked something about foot care, caring of feet. Sometimes my feet actually pain. I feel like a burning sensation on my feet. Is that because of diabetes?
Yes.
And then, this is on a light note. From the foods that the nutritionist has put forward, I think you want to finish us lawyers. Thank you.
Well, I don't plan a genocide, but yeah, Dr. Chino wanted to answer your question about your foot. Yes, Dr. Chino, please go ahead.
Yeah. The foot, what you're actually saying, it tells us that your nerves are being irritated. And nerves are usually the first group of tissues or cells that get irritated by glucose variability. So if you have great glucose variability, then that is the reason why your nerves are already complaining. It means your nerves are getting damaged because of the variations. You do not have stable glucose control, and that gives you what is called glucose variability that irritates the nerves, damages them, and then they start misbehaving. So it would be important if you can join the program, improve on your glucose levels, and have good, reduce the variability, and you will definitely see an improvement.
Yeah.
Thank you. I definitely joined the program.
Thank you. And when it comes to your diet, that's what everybody says when they come in, because you don't understand what you're going to talk about. Please note that we had 6 out of 12 weeks, 6 of those sessions are actually about your diet. So when you learn, then you can still eat, enjoy your food, enjoy your cultural food, but maintain a good blood glucose, a good weight, and eat healthy. So yes, you can only say that we are going to kill the lawyers because you are ignorant of the tricks of nutrition. But yes, we enjoy the joke and we look forward to supporting you. They will survive. The lawyers survive because the lawyers are better. We had West Africans on the team, my friend. We had a few fights before they actually did. In fact, I've put a link there for you to watch the last season's graduation ceremony. So you see, one of the participants, which will be towards the end, she when you tell her not to eat meat at night, she wanted to kill us, but eventually she realized the importance. So we provide evidence-based guidance to help you have a healthy life, and you're not going to starve, and you're not going to boil your food, and you're not going to eat boring food. No, you'll eat healthy. Eat food that is nicely cooked, well served, and clean food. So we teach you a lot. Just to say that for now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we still have questions on the chat about payment. Yes, for Old Mutual, there's a link that has been sent there. You have a negotiated rate, but someone has also asked about if we have contracts, if we only work with Old Mutual. Like, do we work with other insurance companies? Yeah, for now, no, but you can talk to your insurance provider if they can pay for you. But for now, it's for Old Mutual, you have a negotiated rate, and there's a link that has been put up there on the chat that you can use to register.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to add on to what Mildred has said, we have been talking to all insurance companies. We have tried. We've done this for years. This is the first time an insurance company has come on board. And that is why we are so proud of them. They've taken the leap. They've taken the risk to work with us. And so maybe the other people will join. So you need to talk to your insurance, because even us to get Old Mutual to support us, we had some of the Old Mutual clients. Janet Mukami here is an Old Mutual. She can now go and claim the money that she paid, yeah. And many other people are covered by Old Mutual. So we also had clients help us to talk with them. So talk with your insurance, and we'll be happy to come and do a presentation and make sure people living with diabetes have a better quality of life without risk of complications. For me, what breaks my heart is most of the time when the patients come to me is because their sugars are completely out of control and they're desperate. Yet the first place you should stop when you're diagnosed with diabetes or any chronic condition is nutrition. So the first line of treatment for any chronic condition is nutrition. So if you're here, you're not going to join the program, it's all right, but please make sure you see a dietitian. In Kenya, we're one of the countries that have the most nutritionists distributed in all public hospitals. And we have quite also a good number in practice. And we have a regulatory body that makes sure people are well trained and are practicing proper nutrition. So please find a nutritionist near you, visit them, let them help you to plan your meals so that you can actually improve your health. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Seems like we don't have a burning question. Oh, there's Ruth. Okay.
Go ahead, Ruth. So we have Ruth, and if you want to ask a question, please just put up your hand so that we can give you the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alice and team. I was to join the last one, but I missed out on that cohort. Unfortunately, I'm joining with additional complications, and I would like to thank Dr. Alice for continued encouragement. But I have some questions because I hear a lot of emphasis on, just from the name, on diabetics. I wanted to know whether this program can also tailor the nutritional needs to address issues to do with the kidney and liver problems. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ruth, for your question. I think when I was doing my presentations, I might have deleted one slide. So we have two programs running concurrently. The one for people with diabetes and people with prediabetes starts on the 22nd of July. That means next week, Monday, is week 1. So the ones who are registered will get information on how to join, and we will take them through the program and onboard them onto the program, and they will start running. Then the second program starts on the 13th of August. And this is for people who want to lose weight, people who have maybe just hypertension, but without diabetes, have high cholesterol, and have other chronic conditions, but not diabetes. The reason we separate them is because diabetes requires a lot more information as compared to other, like specific diabetes information. So yes, we have two programs, and the lifestyle program is tailored to other conditions, which we manage gladly. And yeah, we have had successes. As you heard from one of our clients, yeah, she had autoimmune condition, and she's much better, less drugs and everything. Thank you very much. So yes, that one starts on the 13th of August for anybody who wants to lose weight, live healthy, and has other chronic conditions, but not diabetes. The one that starts on Monday next week is only for people living with diabetes. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I would.
Yes.
I just learned today that I'm pre-diabetic, and so I have that, and then the other complications. So would I need to do the two groups?
No, you don't need to do the two group.
Okay.
I will talk to you and see the one that suits you best, and then we will direct you to that one. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and all the best. We're here to support you.
Then there was Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's been a very nice evening to listen to two simple questions. One, how much milk can one take when you're diabetic? I come from a place where people take milk in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. So I would like to know that. And two, joining this program, will there be, what do you call, a test? Somebody takes, what do you call, a blood check, cholesterol check, and will there be physical meeting with the experts, or it will only be on Zoom? Thank you.
Yeah.
And sorry, let me say, I've been diabetic for about 15 years, and I've been managing it most of the times myself. Once in a while, when I find I've misbehaved, I would go to the doctors, they would increase the dosage, then I would continue like that for a long time. So I would be glad to join what do you call a program like this through All Mutual, where I have a lot of clients now. So thank you.
Okay, Dr. Tini, you can go first, then Mildred, then if there's something left, I can go.
Sorry, I thought that would have been best for you, the milk thing, the milk.
No. Yeah, we'll answer the food. There are many questions about food, but answer the how.
Yeah, the milk has to be limited in a way, because remember, milk contributes to your carbohydrates. Apart from the protein, the casein in milk, the rest is lactose, and that is sugar. So if you have diabetes, it will disrupt your control if you take it in excess. And then apart from that, also, some people have issues around allergies with milk. So it's milk, it's a love and hate, I would say. So it depends. It depends on a lot of things, but you can't just drink milk in excess.
Yeah. So I was hoping you talk about the way he manages his diabetes himself and then goes to the doctor when things are bad. So
Oh, yeah.
question I
Oh,
wanted
that
to
one.
ask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, you need follow up. You need follow up because these things of you manage, you go wrong, then you come, your dose is up. But by the time you know you are coming, it's when there's something that's hurting. You're not coming because everything is okay. There's a period you have stayed where the blood sugar is high. Now, the problem with that is high blood sugar glycates. What would I say?
Sorry, let me mute
Somebody's
people and then you can
talking.
continue.
High blood sugar does some damage. Whenever your sugar is high, for that period it is high, there is some damage that it has done to your cells. It is called oxidation and glycation. And those things cannot be reversed. So what happens if you keep doing that, it becomes cumulative. And these are the things that after a number of years, you wonder why, but you end up with some organ damage or many organ damages, you see. So you need to be very careful. You want your blood glucose checked regularly. You need to be followed up. In fact, all you need, if you're in good control and you're able to monitor and record your results, is to see your clinician about 4 times a year, just every quarter. Okay? So follow-up is critical. You can't do it all alone. You need guidance and you need to be safe. So you can't wait for things to go on. Diabetes care is proactive. We know what problems can exist, so we prevent them by managing the diabetes and other issues in our lifestyle before things go wrong. It's not like you wait to get malaria, then you go to hospital. No, not with diabetes. You never want. And if you take very good care of your diabetes, you'll be going just to greet your doctor, you know? So please make sure you are never lost to follow up. It's so important.
Yeah. And I wanted to say that just remember that diabetes is a condition that affects the way your body uses energy from the food that you have consumed. So the more food you consume, the higher the blood sugars. So it doesn't matter what you eat. Everything you eat becomes sugar, whether it's milk, it's vegetables, it's fruit, it's meat, everything becomes sugar. So you have to learn how to manage these things so that it does not affect your sugar, so that you're not drug dependent. And please do not manage, Dr. Tino has said, but let me just say don't manage diabetes yourself. Diabetes is a condition that is very complicated. So you really make mistakes when you do things on your own and you don't go for follow-up. And this is why diabetes education is very, very important. One of the oldest doctors of diabetes, Dr. Jocelyn, he says, the diabetes who know more lives the longest. So if you're ignorant, then quickly diagnosed, 5-10 years, complication, and then poor quality of life, and unfortunately death. You can live with diabetes and die of old age complications and not diabetes itself. Thank you. Maybe we take one more question. Ms. Lorraine, what do you think?
Well, there was a question on the tests that he will need to take. Yeah.
Okay, so we really don't need too many tests. So we're not going to run you to the lab and have a whole page of tests. If you're living with diabetes, HbA1c test, okay? If you have high cholesterol, lipid profile. If you've been hypertensive for a very long time, both people with diabetes and hypertensive, a kidney test, urea and electrolyte test. So just those, not too many tests. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
the meetings are online. Yeah, they are all online. We are not doing any physical.
Yes.
Yeah.
The meetings are online, but usually we try to have a fitness test. So we try to meet people but we've never succeeded. People get used to online, they get comfortable. So we would like to have a fitness test. We would like to go mountain climbing at least once a month. We would like to meet, at least for this season. We look forward to meeting you at least twice or 3 times, but all as a group, either to go for a walk at Karura Forest and to have your fitness test. That will be great for people who live in Kenya. For people who are abroad, they can watch us via Zoom. We can include them in all the activities. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I have a client who was asking, do you keep time? So allow me to end it on that note.
Yes, we do.
And for any question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So the questions, we've tried as much as we can to answer. I've seen Dr. Jalango asking questions, and I think Lydia has been responding as well. We shall note whatever needs to be noted, but guess what? Join next week and you get all answers. So welcome next week for the session. What should we say about the program? I think there's so much to learn about diabetes.
Yeah.
Dr. Atieno said, the more you know, the better you manage your condition. So it's a knowledge-based disease, and you do better when you manage, when you know what you need to do. And when you put forth the effort to work. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. And the most certain way to succeed is to try just one more time. So let us keep trying. Let's work on it, keep learning. And the trying comes from joining DTLC. So join DTLC. Let's start next week. We start the program proper, all those answers. Why meet at night? What protein? So many questions. We answer all of those. So welcome next week. Thank you very much for joining us. We said 8 to 9. We've taken another half hour. And we trust that you have learned whatever needs to have been learned today, and we trust that it was good for you. The contact is right there on the screen. Please contact us. Please register. Talk to Lydia. She's ready to help you with whatever question you have. So thank you, Dr. John. Thank you, Mildred. Thank you, Dr. Atieno, and thank you everybody for being a participant this evening. Do have a good night. Take care of yourself. There's been a tremor in Nairobi. Take care. Watch out. Be safe.
Thank you.
Have a good night.